Salut tout le monde, it's your boy, Lukael, and welcome to the Stanley Parable. This is a game released in 2013 and developed by Galactic Cafe. We're going to jump into this game today. I have never played it before. I vaguely remember a friend of mine showing it to me, must be like a decade ago. And all I remember was you walk around like a workplace and there was like a narrator, and I don't really remember anything else other than that. I don't really know what the story in this game is or what the gameplay style is. I assume it's some kind of walking simulator, like a narrative game, something like that. Now, seeing as this seemingly takes place in an office building, I thought it would be fitting to put on a little suit and tie, which I never fucking do. So I kind of relish any occasion I have to dress up a little bit because I never really get to do that. So I thought it would be fitting. And it's also the icon for the game, so I figured that would be fitting. I don't have a red tie though. I only have a black tie. So as you can see, this is the very first time I'm booting the game. I haven't even gone through the options yet. It's interesting that they show you the options first before even getting to the title screen. And one last thing to note is that this is the Ultra Deluxe version of the game. I don't really know what gets added, but I figured if I'm gonna play the game, I might as well play the latest version of it, because maybe there's more content or quality of life or things like that. So I really don't know what to expect today, but this is a game that's been recommended to me a few times in the comments, so I'm pretty curious to see what it's all about. For example, who is Stanley? What is a parable? I don't actually know, so these are some of the questions we're going to be looking for the answer to today. So as always, thank you so much for joining me, and without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Have you played the Stanley Parable before? No, I have not. The current time, it's 3:56 p.m. Why do you want to know the current time? What is that gonna play into anything? There's the title screen. This Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Alright, well, I guess I could have done my presentation on this title screen instead, but... So what kind of work did we even do in this building? I don't know, but let's see. Begin the game. The end is never the end is never the end. Okay, ominous.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Is that me?
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
Because maybe he was
happy.
Well, if you say so, I wouldn't be happy.
One day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
And we're in control? Yes, we are. Man, can you think of a more depressing office space? You do have one picture, I guess. It's kind of a generic picture. You couldn't have anything in front of you, like some posters or some decorations? This is kind of giving me big Severance vibes. If you've watched Severance, incredible show, absolutely amazing show, which is kind of a weird premise about kind of spending your life in an office building, which reminds me of this. Looks a little bit crusty, but it's 2013. Oh, okay, I cannot see my feet. I know it's like standard not to see your feet in a game. I just got back from Subnautica and like you do see your body in that, which feels a bit more natural. It's always a little bit weird when you don't see anything. So his job is just to press like the escape button for 30 seconds and that's it. I mean, I guess at least these are clear instructions, like you don't really have to think too much about what you're doing. It's kind of a menial task. Can I like zoom in? I don't think so. Recommendations from the Oversight Committee. 427. I hate Mondays. Yeah, you would, wouldn't you? Well, we already have the... It's kind of slidey, like you start and you slide a little bit. Okay, I thought maybe it was gonna be the same time as for me, but it's not. Is that clock moving in real time? I think it might be. Alright, so step out of the office. Can't open the doors.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Can't go back in my office. Is it usually this empty? You know, if it wasn't for this kind of whimsical music in the background, this would be kind of extremely creepy, you know? It's very, what do you call those again? Liminal spaces, you know? Like empty office buildings and things like that.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Who farted? Wasn't me. I mean, not really looking for coworkers, just kind of looking at the environment. Someone's downloading something. I like work. I just hate my boss. You know, I've never really had an office job like this. The closest thing I did was I worked as a game tester before, which was kind of in like an office like this, but didn't really feel like an office job, you know? You gonna close the doors behind me? I really don't like being alone here, it's really creepy. 420, blaze it, dude. Yeah, it's empty, alright. So I'm headed for what, the meeting room? It's so weird the way I'm like sliding around. Like I'm on roller skates. I hate Mondays. Yeah, I'm very thankful for this music because this would be extremely unsettling otherwise. Ugh. Is this the office? Sales in this quarter. Sales numbers stonks.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay. Okay. I see what you're doing here. I see what's happening. So this is a test of my will. Am I just gonna do what the narrator asks of me? Or am I going to go against the grain? Well, you know what? It's like a first run through the game. Let's just go with what the narrator says for now. Maybe at some point we'll make our own choices, but for now, let's see where this takes us, shall we?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Meeting room, floor 4XX. What do you mean 4XX? Don't you know that... Rest in peace, friends. Dude. Do not alter without consulting whiteboard manager. Cabal planning? What do you mean cabal? Weekly targets, admin, marketing Mondays. This box is too small. Yeah, it is. Termination Tuesdays. Oh no. Office efficiency. Legal. IT department. We're broke Wednesday. Financial panic meeting. Bosses inspection. 8bird. Mergers, ideas and development. Pre-review of weekly review. Pranking floor 5 meeting. What to do about 432? Don't tell 432 about the meeting. But at least on Friday we're getting an office party. Heyo. Targets. Push for funding for research and development of new coffee machine. Standardize graphs. Get Chris out of the broom closet. Synergize papers. Hire someone to synergize papers. Papers are too synergized. Fire paper guy. Hire somebody to fire the paper synergizing guy. Who moved my desk? Please keep the targets on the topic of redacted. The future was yesterday. Tomorrow is now. Complete today's unfinished agenda items. Write next day's agenda. Reflect. Okay. Everyone is unique. You most of all. Number of slides on this slide. Charts and slides and stocks and numbers and stonks. Bi-quarterly post-review review. We need reviews. 402, 405 want to get rid of the debt sport portion in the primary review schedule, but I think that's a stupid idea. More water cooler heaters. Charts need to be more hip to appeal to teenage demographic. Find teenagers to put in teenage demographic? Big net? Some sort of child trap? What? Teenagers. Size of demographics, a lot of percentage. Throw something in the IDs bin. No more bins, trash cans. Renaming of the IDs bin. Firing of me. Okay. Synergize core value expenditures. Shift global market parade. Monetize free to play. This game was ahead of its time. Quarterly pie chart profits. Business numbers. Broom closet. Oh, wasn't someone stuck in the broom closet?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Yeah, I will. I mean, there's a broom. And a mop. I guess there's nothing else.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Okay, well now it feels like you want me to stay in there, but I'm just gonna follow the initial instructions.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh, there's some red light down there. Don't like that. Oh, wow. Big change of scenery. Executive bathroom. Oh. Ooh. Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast. Money crisp. Did someone like just write that on the wall? Extreme bathrooms. I wish I could zoom in. Time. You get like a little clicking sound no matter what you do, but I'm not actually like in front of a computer. It sounds like I'm tapping a keyboard. Fancy ass place you got here. Yeah. Let's close the doors behind me. The beige pages. Not the yellow pages, yeah. Can I turn that on? No. Ooh, big office there. This is locked. Hello, sir?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him, and so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
I see. This right there, this is the icon for the game. I just noticed he's got like little money.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Yes, very clever. What do you call that? A cufflink. He's got little money cufflinks.
2845.
Yes, I heard you. I'm just looking around. Oh, really? I can't play the piano? Why would you have a piano here? And if I can play it? Some drink?
But it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Oh, okay, so you're getting impatient. You thought I wasn't doing what you wanted, so like you're just getting me along. Okay. Yeah, no, that's not... I can't even see the keyboard anymore. So you just pressed it for me? You weren't even gonna wait for me? What an impatient narrator. Is this... This isn't gonna turn into a horror game at the last moment, is it? You guys wouldn't have me play a horror game? October is over. I'm done with spoopy games for the rest of the year. Ugh. This really just feels like a horror game now.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Oh, good. Can I go, like, lower? Guess not. Oh.
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
The end is never the end. Okay, so the guy is just reacting to everything we do, huh? I mean, it's still the same office, right? Same.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow! I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Okay, well now you're just being a dick about it. Like I just hit the button on accident. It not actually exactly the same as before. There's more light now, because now I can actually see the keyboard. There you go. That's the year the game was released. Alright, fine. Let's go down. If you insist.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
Isn't this what you wanted? I'm just doing what you wanted.
Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he?
Unfortunately, yes.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Well, now that's tempting. Sure, let's go check out the mind control facility. Yeah, this is quite spooky. I guess I'm gonna click that. Or do you want me to just like sit around here and wait? Yes?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
I don't know, did he? You seem to know everything, so surely you would know. So I was just being mind controlled this whole time then? Employee observation protocol. In the case of a class 3 event, what is this fucking SCP? If, despite adherence to Protocol 2A and Protocol 2B, an employee leaves the office during work hours and a system loop has failed, you must terminate. Terminate the employee? Please note that employee 432 is a test case. While the need for Protocol 2A may seem unlikely, Procedure 2A to 2C need not apply. In the event of 432 attempting to leave the office, contact supervisor and then contact 432 prize pool. Well, I'm not 432, I'm 427. If a monitoring screen fails to initialize contact maintenance and temporarily switch control over to desk screen. In the case of a Class 4 event, close system gates and consult with supervisor. In the case of a Class 3 event, close system gates and consult with supervisor. Prime your consoles for info dump. Okay.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Where's 427? It's right there. It's there, 427. That's... And then 432. That's the bottom one here. Okay. Some of them are like red screens. What does that mean? Okay, so... Pretty spooky. Why does it still sound like I'm clicking on like a keyboard?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Sure seems to be the case.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Mind control status offline. Okay. Well, it seems like I've already escaped their control. Console disabled. There's a door here. I mean, I'm kind of scared of like touching anything here. It's kind of dangerous to mess around with things you don't understand, you know? What if I just make things worse? Activate power cell. Is there a way to make the textures like even better? Nope, high is the highest. Some textures are just not meant to look good, you know? Even in the Ultra Deluxe version. I guess it's because they're not important. 5. Yes? Mind controls idle, awaiting input.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
So you want me to turn it off? Look at that, player choice presented in like the most obvious way. The most literal way. It's like, should I press off? Should I press on? Do you have anything else to say about this, narrator? Well, I guess I'm gonna hit off then.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Is it?
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Why would there just be a giant door that leads straight to the outside? I guess all I care about is freedom?
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Or was he? And we're just back to the beginning. Still same time as before.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So we're just starting over from the beginning. Okay, so...
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way. Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
Okay.
No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
417. Okay, sure. While we're just messing around. Is there even a door 417 though?
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
Sure.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so. Now, back to door number 437.
You're really making me work for it, huh? Oh, I can actually crouch. Huh.
Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine?
Where is that? This?
All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
I think you're messing with me.
Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
Climb on it? Oh.
Yes! This is great! You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416. We've almost got it! Now the copy machine, do that one again!
Really making me feel like a rat in a maze here.
Finish it off, Stanley! 5 clicks on door 430! Yes! We did it! Oh, wow. That felt amazing. Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back. Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come today. Just think, only a few minutes ago you believed an achievement was worth 5 little clicks. Really now, what were you thinking?
I wasn't really thinking anything. I was just kind of clicking on doors. But you really took that and went with it, huh? Okay, well. This was all pointless. This door doesn't have a number. I guess you don't have anything else to say about that? Oh, did I just turn it off? I guess I just turned it off. These are all empty already. This is input received. What do you mean input received? I'm just standing on it now. Why does this only this one say input received? All these doors are just locked. Even the 421. Okay, so what was I doing again? All these doors are closed. Can't even get through here.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Well, shall we go to the door on the right this time? Or should I just go on the left again? Let's go on the left again.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Let it ball up inside you. Take it out passive-aggressively on other coworkers. Resent coworkers for not supporting you more, but let it ball up inside you. Using slides to assure employees that everything is okay. Make sure your slide has a slick blue graphic in the header and throw some bevel on all the text. This will ensure a calm, working environment. Everyone is unique, you most of all. Might I just stay in this broom closet this time?
No, nothing. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Thank you, I will. He actually remembers me going in the broom closet the first time, so it's not a true time loop. He's aware of what we did before. Interesting. I'm just trying to find a way to help that guy get out of the broom closet, but I guess I'm the guy? It's me, I'm the broom in the closet. Shall we just wait in here? Doesn't really seem to be anything you can do, so... Are you happy now? I'm out of the closet.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Wait, wasn't this door locked before? What the fuck? Business strategy? Why are you pointing a gun at this poor panda? Doors monthly. Help, I can't find my cat. Could be indoors? Shapes. Is the cone the new triangle? How I kicked my ugly pentagon habit. Illegal cubes and how to spot them. Lenny Smith talks about his new box. Exclusive. And all of these have like a bunch of typos in them. Oh, we've got another elevator here. Not gonna go in there just yet.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Sure. Still can't play that piano, huh? Damn it. Whoa, what's with the sparks, buddy?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I sure did.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Does Stanley also remember the previous loops, or like, what's happening here? Or is there no Stanley and it's just the player, and that's it?
Now the monitors jumped to life,
Fired.
their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Look at this one up there. What's that about? Two of them are fired also.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Oh, I can actually click these. I mean, not that it does anything, but maybe later. 5.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Stanley stepped through the open door.
Okay, well, I want to try not going outside, but I think they closed the door behind me, so I think once you hit the button, you don't really have a choice. You're kind of stuck going outside. Unless maybe I wait? Okay, waiting doesn't seem to do anything, so I think I just don't have a choice. I have to leave at this point.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin.
Let's begin the game again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go out to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Okay, that's funny. That's funny. That means you can change things in future runs. Interesting.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Quelle surprise indeed, my friend. So he's very much aware of what's happening. He's aware that this is all repeating. Is there gonna be like a true escape, a true way to... Because I guess technically I'm still stuck in this loop, right?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I'm still a prisoner until I actually close the game.
An enormous room packed with television screens.
Am I supposed to gather any information from like all these screens? Like, is there something in there that... Well, there's something about 234. 234 is like weirdly glitchy. 104 is fired. And also, I guess 601. I wonder if that's relevant at all.
Facility. It was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. for he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
And what if I don't?
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated. All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen.
Who's running?
On every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons. No, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless, to see you made humble. This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Well, you actually did it. But I'm just back here again, so what does death mean, really? So he admitted to a lot there. He's admitting to being the one controlling this, replaying these events over and over again. doing it for kind of some sick enjoyment. And claiming we have no way to get out of this. I do love games that go like full meta like this, you know, like the Undertales and the Doki Doki literature clubs out there. It's a trick you can't pull off too often, but if you do it like only once in a while, it's really good. And thankfully only a few games attempt it, and most of the ones that did tend to do it pretty well. Nier Automata also did this. The first Nier also.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Interesting. So could I have escaped after clicking that button or no? I'm gonna guess no.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh, you're just gonna open the door right away, huh? I don't really want to spoil Undertale on the off chance that any people have not played Undertale before, although I feel like everyone has played it at this point. But if you haven't played Undertale, I guess like just skip ahead a minute because I just want to talk about it. Like, you know, the whole concept of Undertale, and specifically the genocide route at the end, is this idea that as gamers, we're always going to try and do everything that's possible to do in a game. And Undertale came out after this, right? But anyways, the whole concept of this game, Stanley Parable, seems to be we're going to give you all these possibilities. You can go left, you can go right, you can make your own choices, and we know you're going to want to try doing everything because that's what gamers do. Like if you see a big button that says don't click it, of course you need to click it because it's our curiosity, it's our agency. Like we need to try and see what happens. You know, when you play a game like, say, Baldur's Gate, most people will just do like a normal run. They'll create their little character, try and roleplay. But there's always going to be some people that go like, well, what can you do? Like, what if I try just killing everyone in the village at the very beginning? It's not because you were like a murderer or psychopath. I mean, maybe some people are, but it's just you have that curiosity of seeing, well, did the developers program anything specific for this? Like, did they account for all the possibilities? Did they account for every possible player choice that could happen here? And it's very rewarding as the player to see like, oh wow, they actually put a little something there in case you did this. You know, it's an attention to detail. It's something that's always satisfying. It's something that like a lot of the Kojima games are kind of known for, is like that little, all these little Easter eggs and like rewarding the player for their curiosity. And from what I'm seeing here, this seems to be the entire concept of this game. And anyways, in Undertale, you can't just kill everyone in, of course, the genocide run. And the game makes a point to comment about this, like through Sans. He says like, oh, you're just gonna try doing it just because you can, right? You're just trying to push to see how far you can take things, and like, you won't stop until everything is gone. And then Kara at the very end is like, oh, did you think you were in control? It was me this whole time. I was making you do this because I wanted to kill everyone. I wanted to see how far I could push this. And I'm going to be in every other game doing the same thing until there's nothing left. And it's such a great concept. Sadly, of course, I've already played Undertale, so I don't get to play it on the channel. But like, it would have been such an interesting experience getting to share it with you guys. But I can talk about it at least.
Here's the door, just go.
It's that determination, you know? I am filled with the power of determination. It's that player power of like wanting to try everything there is to do. Being a completionist.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Or am I just gonna go through the escape route?
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Okay.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
But what if you're lying, though?
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
I guess I am. Ugh.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Oh. Did the narrator go through a transition? Instant gender transition?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
I don't know. You tell me.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Yeah, you're right. Nature paintings. It's a little mini-map. Stanley's computer. It is. It's my computer. Office layout. This blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the two doors was the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development, though the core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration. Oh. A little behind the scenes here. Which kind of shows that like there's no other paths you can take, they're just fake. How very meta. Corridor. The pacing of this opening section was important to get right. This corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches the two doors in a good time. But then, it doesn't show you what happens if you go on the right instead. The two doors. The set of the two open doors was the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parable's design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it, an exploration of the contradiction this room posed. It is very much a contradiction, isn't it? The narrator says go on the left, but then what if you go on the right? Filing cabinets, office computer, installing Chart Pro 2.0. It's playing some solitaire. Employee database. Total employee in database 604. Total employee in office 2? Where's the other one? Print list employees in office. Employee 427, that's me. Status offline. Employee... Please enter your command. The current time is... Internal clock error. Please reset. 6:04. The office. Button sounds. A selection of the sounds used throughout the game when buttons are pressed. Each sound is a mix of a keyboard stroke and a synthesized tone. I was gonna try the pin to the boss's computer, but there's no 8 here. I can try my own number either. So I guess these are the legitimate credits for the game, huh? Kevin Brading as the narrator. The impeccable Kevin Brading, sorry. I didn't give him the proper title. Well, I guess this is the way to access the game's actual credits. The office. Maintenance room. An early version of the maintenance room. 431 to 436. It's the copy machine. Ultra Deluxe announcements. In December 2018, we announced the Ultra Deluxe version of the Stanley Parable at the Game Awards. These are screenshots of the videos we made for the announcement and the game's delay. A lot of this I haven't even seen yet. Warzone. Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become sentient and would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, some people interpreted it as making fun of people who like shooters, which was not our intention. It would be mine. This just looks like Subnautica, I'm gonna be honest. Alien base, awesome. I guess it is a little bit on the nose. I'm just kidding, you can like shooters if you want. From Art, subject regarding your game in the works. Dear narrator, will the Stanley Parable have infinite quests? How many endings? If the Stanley Parable is really going to let me go shopping, I hope it will have a fine selection of desert boots. How do you make a JRPG? How do you make the worst game ever? What is the difference between a duck? A duck and what? Also, duck mention! How's the game going? I hope it's as good or better than the first one. From a cool man. Are these like actual emails they got? Are you a rock? Narrator emails. After the second trailer we asked people to email the narrator for questions. While we had initially planned to use these further promotional materials, we never found the perfect use for them. Here are a selection of those emails. Could you tell me what the significance of the Wait, what? What number? The thing I want to know is, what would you do if Stanley entered any other rooms? On a scale of Max Ernst to Salvador Dali, how surreal will this game be? Were you born with a magnificent voice, or did you bargain with a magician to receive it? Congratulations! Regarding the ongoing promotion, here's the result in attached file. Open it carefully, see the full detail. Be first to apply if you what? I wanted to tell you I like the Stanley Parable as much as I liked seeing a humorously small badger in swim trunks. Watching the sunset, walking in the park. Wang Yang. I don't even have time to read all of these. How do you type with boxing gloves on? What do the lights in the control room do? I really want to know. So do I. I am an Anthony Elias business broker. Please partner with me in a very rewarding business venture. Details will be sent to you if you are interested. I have a question for you, sir, and it is, what is your message for today? Mr. Narrator guy. There is a skeleton inside of you. There are more skeletons in this world than humans. Oh, I wish you didn't say that. Thanks and goodbye. Am I Stanley? Are you spying on me? Will the game feature capybaras? Now it does. How do you stay in shape? Sincerely, Michael The Rock Martin. I'm afraid The Rock is already used as a nickname. Are you gay? Whoa, why'd you skip the previous one? Am I gay? Is the narrator gay? I appreciate the previous Stanley game as a work of art and a standalone title. I appreciate the credit given to art, which is why I'm eager to see a sequel, prequel, standalone. Okay, now it's just looping. Okay. The Lounge. An early version of The Lounge. The apartment timer. In a previous version of the choice leading to the apartment ending, a timer would give you 15 seconds to pick up the phone. Not picking up the phone would lead to a different ending. The cargo lift. The second version is functionally the same as what's in the final game, but we wanted it to look more like a place where cargo was actually stored. The cargo lift. Always intended to offer the choice of staying on or jumping to a different path. However, after this early version, we decided we also wanted the option of the player falling to their death. Okay. There is a lot in here. The game is now paused. Begin the game again, resume the game. For a long time, we had an ending that only ended when the player restarted from the escape menu. Unfortunately, very few players realized this was what they were supposed to do, which was frustrating for everyone. To escape. Okay. Wait. This place is so big, I'm getting lost now. Oh, it's on the right. Okay, I see. I'm guessing this stuff here is probably from the Ultra Deluxe version, because they're talking to you about like some extra stuff and like some behind the scenes about how they made the game. So maybe I shouldn't be reading all this, but they made it accessible from like just playing the game normally, so... Stanley's office. From left to right, the evolution of Stanley's office over time. The first was created in November 2011, the second in 2012, the third in 2013. Look fairly similar. Game design mock-up. This is the level that William, the level designer, sent Davey, the writer, as a kind of audition piece. The strength of this level got William hired to design the full game. Though much of the environment has changed, the basic layout from this mock-up is still in the game. Monitor room elevator. For a time, the elevator in the monitor room could go up or down, with freedom above and countdown below. We abandoned this when players found it too difficult to remember what was up and what was down, and placed the two endings together instead. Freedom ending. This is the freedom ending as it existed in beta. Countdown desk. For a time, the elevator in the monitor room could go up or down with freedom above and countdown below. We abandoned this when players found it too difficult to remember what was... Okay. Freedom ending. Boss's office. Screens from the development of the boss's office. Looks better now, I will say.
Forever. Stanley pushed the orange lever.
Kevin Briding, the voice of the narrator, recorded dialogue for the entire game roughly 3 separate times over the 2 years of development.
Then he pushed the number 4.
These are clips from early takes that were not used in the final game. This really feels like you're going around like a museum.
This elevator for sure will get him right back on track to where he was supposed to be in the story.
This really feels like you're in a museum, because sometimes they'll have these rooms where like you just listen to things and like... They made a museum about the game as a behind-the-scene thing. It's kind of cool. But I also feel like I'm seeing this a little too early. Like, it should have been harder to get here, I feel. Zending. This screenshot depicts an early version of the ending known as the Zending, which was eventually cut and merged with another part of the game. Because like, you can potentially kind of get spoiled here, right? Zending levers. These levers were originally a part of the Zending. The player would pull a lever and the narrator would describe what color they had pulled. Really? Zending model. The Zending went through many iterations. This room represents the 4th version of the ending, and we thought it was complete, but decided to abandon and change it again shortly before launch. The Zending, huh? Okay, well, that was interesting.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
And yet we can't, huh?
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save those two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
So if you go to the escape, then you
All
just
his co-workers were gone.
die.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Is the broom closet gonna be closed
When Stanley
again?
came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
still locked.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
So it
Coming
does
to
remember.
a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Have you noticed how rarely you can actually see yourself in the mirror in a game? I've read that it's actually really complicated to do working mirrors. Like you kind of have to render the game like twice. I'm not sure if that's true, but that's what I've heard. Extreme bathrooms. Bad guy testifies in the trial of the century. Tired of getting ash on your porcelain? Faucets, pipes, offshoots. Oh, it's locked again this time. Damn it. I should have gone when I had the chance. Ah, he locked everything behind me. Damn. How come it was accessible that one time?
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
Why was the elevator accessible that one time? There we go. That's fucked up. Let's go up. Let's go up. It says Stanley. Oh, it's the narrator singing. So are we gonna reach anything, or? That's a tall ass building. Oh, are you kidding? I'm still here. Okay, what if I go down? Stanley. I can't go anywhere, can I? This doesn't actually lead to anything. Alright, fine, let me out of here. That same picture again.
Here's the door, just go.
Oh.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Still haven't been through the right door yet.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Fire hose? Oh, there's a car here.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head.
Whose voice
he
is
was
this?
amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
I'm still here.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? and everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
Whoops.
And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind.
Or is she?
I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better.
Oh,
But
jeez.
then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
What a nice story. The end is never the end. Excuse me? Well, this
All of
is...
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, you're not going to acknowledge the fact that this all looks different? What are we playing at here? Oh. Welcome to the whiteboard ending. Dog mode? Hell yeah, I want dog mode.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
I will admit, I thought the narrator was gonna be a dog now.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find him. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense.
Guess I'm gonna start over again. Oh, now we're back to the regular office.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was
Don't say
only a
that.
matter of time.
Don't say that. I don't like that. That's some horror game shit. That's some SCP shit. Why would you say something like that? Don't like you saying that.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'm not in dog mode anymore.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for. Nope, still on board with death?
All right, well, I think I'm going to stop here. I think there probably is a lot more stuff to the game if I go through the right door, but because I want to keep some for next time, I'm going to stop here. And so in the next episode, we'll be going through the right door and exploring these different choices, but very unique game. It's very funny, it's very clever. I'm enjoying kind of the meta commentary on player choice, and I don't really know how long the game is, like how many different endings or paths you can really take, but I'm gonna be exploring some more in the next episode, and like I think this will be maybe 2-3 videos tops, but I'm enjoying it so far. It's pretty unique. So for now, I will say thank you so much for joining me today. If this is your first time on the channel, please consider subscribing so you can catch all the future videos. And if you would want to support me, you can do so by checking out my Patreon in the description below. And all of my patrons get a full week of early access on all my videos, so you can catch the next Stanley Parable episode right now by doing so. So until next time, guys, I had fun playing this. I hope you had fun watching it, and I will see you in the next episode for some more Stanley Parable. À la prochaine!